All right, style class today. We have so much to get through, and I'm going to try and be as organized as possible. I'm here with Sloan. We've done a lot of homework from the information that you sent in around the topic, which today is, what do I wear in all of these different locations? There are a lot of questions about what to bring when you're traveling to destinations that run from like a place I didn't even know of in North Carolina called like Duck or something, which seems like I would know. And then all the way to Dubai, South Korea, Tokyo, Ireland. Like, people are going everywhere. You guys have a phenomenal schedule. And so this week's class is not going to be exactly per se about what to pack. It is going to be very much how to think about what you're going to pack. What is the construct of information that you want to run through when you are deciding what will be right for your destination? And it's really important to figure that out ahead of time, because I think one of the worst feelings that you can get is showing up for the wrong vibe. That's where you go the most wrong. There's always going to be a time when you're traveling, you're like, shit, I didn't know we were going to go hiking, and you run down to like the gift shop or whatever and you buy a pair of running shoes, right? Like, we can deal with those things. But when you have pulled up to a destination and you are literally in the wrong vibe, that feels terrible. That's number one. But the second thing that feels really bad as well is when you've shown up as a trope. You have packed all the luggage because you looked at all the pictures of Ibiza and what are they wearing, and you bought all of this stuff, and then you showed up and sure, you look like everyone else at the club, at the beach, whatever, but you don't look like yourself at all. And that's a really, really shitty feeling. So what we want to talk about today is ways to mitigate for those two things. We want you to understand the vibe of the area that you're going, and then we want you to recognize how to lean into elements of that without losing a sense of who you are. So, one way to think about how nuanced this is I was thinking like, if you look at an area that is the same temperature, for instance, like if you look at Boston in the summertime and Ibiza in July, they're the same temperature, right? But like, clearly there's sand and there's cobblestone. There's structures made out of like cement that are and like old like the cobblestones in Ibiza are like building out the old village, the old town, whereas in Boston, it's all like red bricks, right? Like very, very precise. So, when you're thinking about like going to a place where you imagine the grass to be long and wild versus the grass to be very manicured, like a golf course, you want to start to apply adjectives to describing that, right? So if you're thinking about Ibiza, the ways that you would describe it would be things like wild, freedom, very bare and light. Whereas like Boston, or maybe even a place like Hilton Head, which is a beach, like an island like Ibiza, but not at all, you would think of things as being very precise and very orderly, decorum, tailored, right? So those are kind of like your overall adjectives that you want to think about when you are packing for a certain area. And then you want to break it down and get it right, because this is not, this should not be super hard. This is going to be really fun. And we want to give you some creative ways of thinking about how to pack and lean into the tropes, have fun with it. So I'm going to start first with destinations that are more preppy in nature. So if you think about that's like a Nantucket, it's like Cap Ferret in France. That's like the Nantucket of France. And those are places, again, that have a lot of tradition and structure. So what I think about is like, if you're traveling to a place like that, what are the tropes that that you have at home,
Mhm.
that you don't dress like a preppy person,
Mhm.
but what are the things that you have at home that could lean into
Mhm.
that vibe? And so I've just done like, you guys can see here, like the tropes might be something like a boat shoe here, it might be a Lacoste shirt, maybe an Hermes scarf, maybe it's a baseball cap, and maybe it's a boat shirt,
Mhm.
right? Those are things, like if
Mhm.
I've got those things in my closet, but no one would say you are a preppy person,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
But if I'm going to Sea Island or Hilton Head or something, those items are going in the bag.
Mhm.
If I'm going to Cap Ferret, those items are going in the bag. But that is just one element in my bag, because what I need then are like the guts
Mhm.
of what's in the luggage. So the things that like work as like super guts here, one of them is the skirt that you're wearing,
Mhm.
right?
The asymmetric balloon skirt.
Yeah.
The nylon.
Yeah. So here you can see that you're wearing it right now with gray and with a black sandal.
Mhm.
And the way that you're wearing it might be more appropriate if you were traveling to a place that maybe like, I mean, when I was in Berlin this summer,
Mhm.
this was like the perfect thing to wear in a place like Berlin.
Mhm.
That's a place that we would call like kind of the anti-authority place. Like it's what it seems like, right? It's like lots of blacks and grays and
Mhm.
everything. But we know that like something like this nylon, it works in Berlin the way that you've got it, but you can easily just give it a moment for Hilton Head by just pulling it around here, right? So these are things like you can lean into this trope right here.
Mhm.
And then even if you were going then to, let me see how to, okay, so sorry guys, I want to make this so helpful for you guys, and I made lots of notes, and sometimes my notes will trip me up. So here we've got it like kind of preppy vibed, right? But then if you wanted to turn it more classic,
Mhm.
and classic is different than preppy. Classic is places where you imagine kind of old world, maybe museums,
Mhm.
churches, whatever religious institutions are around, but definitely like old world. I think like a place like Florence
Mhm.
is
That was gonna be my
really,
example. Yeah.
that's your like ultimate classic place, right? Classic and preppy aren't the same thing.
Mhm.
So here right now, this, you're not gonna feel right in Florence
Mhm.
in this. This is like by the time you got on the navy and the red and white,
Mhm.
that's gonna feel just a little too preppy, not the same as classic. So what I'm gonna do is switch you out here. And then if you're in Florence, something as simple as a trope in your closet that you would have for
Mhm.
classic, a leopard belt, right? So just something as simple as having on this leopard belt. Like it's so simple. But this completely like,
Yes.
it's just gonna give you a little bit of a classic moment to it,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And then if your other destination would be like, let's say you're going to, I don't know, are you going to Paris maybe?
Yeah. We'll do Paris.
Let's go to Paris. If you're going to Paris, let me give you the jacket,
Mhm.
right? So here, like you're shopping and you're running around Paris, you're gonna immediately chic it up, because Paris is gonna fall into the type of destination that I would call the super chic
Mhm.
destination.
Mhm.
And this is where you wanna lean into things that have more of a modern bent to them,
Mhm.
and that you can really like lift up in more luxury type,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
And so one of the things too that you can think about when you're traveling is how do little accessories
Mhm.
change everything as well, like down to the sunglasses.
Mhm.
So here I've got the cat eye sunglass here. And so if I'm in Paris, I'm gonna put this on, and this is gonna all of a sudden give streets of Paris, if you wanna go up close here.
Yeah.
And with the sunglasses though, I'm gonna take this off
Mm-hmm.
because you look a little too accessorized and you don't look like you're naturally just running
Mm-hmm.
around the street, but now you do. That's a little nuance, guys, that like you may feel that or you may not.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna give you a different pair of sunglasses
Okay.
now. So this is like for the super modern locations, is
Mhm.
for a minimalist location,
Super chic.
super chic. But here,
Oh, these bendies.
yeah. So these are just Oliver Peoples. And now this, to me, has you back in like Florence.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is like an eyewear
Mhm.
that works in a really preppy location.
Mm-hmm.
When you've got something like, if you're in a preppy place and you're going out, like that's your glasses
Mm-hmm.
that you want to wear. Whereas this, just
So
want to.
chic.
So with the skirt so far, you've been in a very avant-garde place,
Mm-hmm.
or like the rule-breaking place, like a
Mhm.
Berlin. You've been to a very chic, over-the-top, stylish place, like the genre of Paris.
Mm-hmm.
You've been in preppy,
Mm-hmm.
right? So another thing is to think about like, what would you do if you're going to in place with like
Like
very
Aspen?
arid, like Aspen, Austin, Texas. I don't know exactly my locales to compare that to in Europe. Okay. Okay, so now you got that. You clearly do not feel comfortable.
No, I mean,
Like
this
yourself.
is just hilarious. I don't ever wear hats.
Right. Okay, but
But if I was in Aspen, I would wear a hat because I would want to. That's the part of the trope that I would feel comfortable like
Yeah.
dipping my toe. I'm not wearing it in New York to
Yeah.
go on the street, but it's Aspen. It's fun. You're on the street. It has kimosabe. Like it's fun.
well, and this is one where the hat is a good example of something that you buy
Mm-hmm.
on your location. And in fact, I did buy this when we were in San Miguel, and it was like we got down there, I needed a hat. It's San Miguel. I'm not wearing a straw floppy hat actually under any circumstances,
Mhm.
but like a baseball cap wasn't the right vibe either, but
Mhm.
this hat was. But you're in San Miguel or you're in Aspen, but you look a little silly here
Mm-hmm.
with your jacket on. You wouldn't be doing that. But I do think that there is a world where you would have on like a button-down shirt,
Mm-hmm.
right? And guys, what we're showing you is like lots of permutations, how you can change up these key pieces in your wardrobe to match any location that you're going to. But what we're going to provide you later on Substack is a really nice, helpful, organized grid, because once I got into all the information that you guys had sent me, it was like a beast. And we want to give
Mhm.
this to you right. So,
And all very different too.
and all very different. So here, to me, if you were in Aspen and you're running around, this would be more
This-
your.
Yes, and this already feels
Okay.
more right. Like
Yeah,
just
like
from
you're already
putting a
calmed
button.
down.
Mhm. I know I felt stiff at first with the
Yeah.
blazer and the hat, but just putting a button down on and still having the tank show like
Yeah.
feels eased out and feels, this is all things that I would have in a wardrobe. A
Yeah,
nylon skirt, a button down, a tank, and then this is the fun purchase.
and exactly. And I think that's a great thing about when you're traveling is when you brought the right things, like the right fundamentals, like the right tropes from home that fit in,
Mhm.
then it allows you to buy one or two things
Mhm.
in the moment without feeling like you're in costume.
Mhm.
And what you don't want to do is go down to San Miguel with like all that stuff, and then you see like this stall and this
Yeah.
guy's making handmade
Mhm.
hats, and you're like, why the fuck did I go to where the hell ever and buy, a
Yeah.
hat? Okay, so another thing is if you, let's say now you are in a very bohemian place. Let's
Mhm.
say that you're in, well, it's funny. there's bohemian places and there's sexy places.
Mhm.
And then there are those that kind of like straddle both.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like pick your poison. It's like choose a trope to kind of lean into. But this is one like St. Bart's,
Mhm.
for example. It really is like the ultimate like mix of
Absolutely.
bohemian and sexy because it's not as pure sexy as Miami and it's not as like bohemian as Ibiza. It's
Mhm.
kind of like right in between. So I'm going to give you like this sandal here.
Mhm.
Now, if you're wearing the sandal though, I want to take off the Oxford. The Oxford I would wear with a bikini top
Mhm. Absolutely.
and the sandal, but you feel too polished.
Almost yeah.
Yeah.
You're at the beach. Like I want to be in a sandal. I want to be in a tank. It's probably hot. You're outside all day. Like I want to be.
Exactly.
You know.
So I think here I'm gonna you can throw this on over your tank top here to illustrate it. But it's like if you were in St. Bart's, this sheerness here with that, and then you got the
interesting.
shoe there,
Mhm.
like you're totally good.
Yeah.
And this is one like you can even give lightness by rolling up the sleeves,
Mhm.
leaving things down, whatever you want.
Mhm.
But this is where you would totally like work that in.
Yeah.
Okay, now we can pretend like we're in Ibiza
Okay.
for a minute. I bought this.
There.
I haven't tried it on.
Okay.
No, not here. But sometimes when you're traveling, like of course it's really fun. Like, what's the one thing you want to buy that like really speaks to the moment, right? So like let's pretend like I'm in Ibiza. So I did buy this.
Oh my gosh.
I know I just
Good for
like
you.
die for this, right? But like this is one where for me, I will totally wear this
Mhm.
with this and the strappy sandal, and this will be like my
This I feel like
going
this-
out at night.
Yeah, and it still is intersecting the bohemian with.
Yeah.
Like it's sexy.
I would give anything for it not to say Chloe right there, but whatever. Like,
Yeah.
and it's one too. Like I think I can wear it with like these blue pants and a flat,
Mhm.
and just go out to dinner.
Mhm.
But anyway, so this was like a fun item for me to buy. I haven't tried it on though. Yeah, so
I love it.
we're gonna see where that turns out.
Mhm.
But this is something that I did buy a while ago, and I find that like when you are going to locations that fall into the sexy range, like a Miami, like a Las Vegas,
Mhm.
or they fall into the bohemian range, there are really quick, easy ways to affect that vibe without turning into a trope. You know the trope, she's got on a floppy hat. She looks like she's just got canceled off of the Real Housewives of Where the Fuck Ever. We don't want to be in that trope.
Yep.
And so for me, this is like, I bought this like on Ukes. It's Gucci, a long, long time ago. But Alessandro era. But anyways, but like just something like that
Mhm.
with the nylon skirt.
Mhm.
Sexy, right?
Totally sexy, but without like steering too far from how I feel comfortable. You
Yeah.
know, like I don't want to. It's the same. Like I don't want to go to Las Vegas and put a costume on.
Right.
I don't want to buy a whole new wardrobe for a weekend trip.
Yeah.
And this is something like a nylon skirt, kind of pairs down the sexy. I feel where it feels you like I feel hot, but like normal.
Yeah. And there are other ways too, like when you want to even dial it up a little bit, really simple things like when what we're going to lay out for you is all the tropes, right? But like they're trope items, like a big hoop earring
Mm-hmm.
with that, just immediately. Even this alone with just a big hoop earring and a black bathing suit,
Yeah.
bikini top underneath is going to immediately give you like that moment.
Totally.
Right.
Totally.
And you know, while you're wearing this skirt, like this could easily have been substituted
Yeah.
for the Winslow
Mhm.
pants, any of the nylon bottoms at all.
Mhm.
And it's funny because one person wrote in and they're like, I'm going to hot climate, so clearly I can't wear nylon. And I was like, no, that's exactly.
No, I save my balloon skirt to wear in the summer.
You do, because like it's giving air underneath.
Mm-hmm.
The air penetrates the nylon a little bit, nowhere near like linen, but like life's too short for pure linen. But so it's going to give you a little bit of air, but it's not going to collect sweat balls on your body.
With especially like this skirt in particular, or the Winslows, like they're really movable. So
Yeah.
if you are in that hotter climate, like the last thing you want is your clothes sticking to you
Yeah.
when you're walking around on cobblestone and sweating and whatever. Like it's breathable, and it's like you can walk.
Perfect. So then I want to show, like, let's say that you're going to Ibiza and you've got the things that you already had in your closet. You've got all your great easy fundamentals that you're going to bring. You've got tropes that you've picked up from vacations past and things that fall into the trope arena that you wear normally every day. But like when you're in Ibiza, a hoop earring takes on like another element.
Yeah.
So then the thing to decide is like, what pieces are you going to invest in because you're like, I'm going on vacation.
Right.
And everyone wants to bring something new, a few new things. But the key now is when you're going on vacation is not to like lose your shit
Right.
buying a full-on trope. You want to buy the things that lean into the moment but are still very much you. So like I'm bringing out this one from, I've got it unzipped here, but you can see like it's got these straps in the back here. This hangs down when you walk. It also comes in navy with black. But like if I were going to Ibiza, straight up, like this is what I would buy. And I would buy it because I would know that I could also go up to Milan and I'm going to wear it with like a black, sharp, flat sandal. You know, I can wear it to, not a wedding. I'll wear it to Sarah's wedding. Can you imagine?
There you go. She would love that.
She would love it if I wore white. But I know that it has all of my adjectives, right? It's chill, it's very modern, and it's a bit classic. So when you are buying items for vacation, investing in them, that's where you want to really make sure that you are hitting the trope, but that you're also hitting your adjectives straight up. So another good example then is like, if I were going to Miami. Miami's definitely tricky for me because there's a lot of skin. Like, very skin happy, right? Like great for you. Good, right? But it's hard for me. Like, no one needs all that skin for me. But something like this that is completely like, it's got this cat's cradle tie in the back and it's very clean. Like you can imagine, I'm going to buy this for Miami and I'm going to feel right at home. But if I go to a preppy destination,
It's absolutely transferable.
yeah, it's like it's cotton poplin, like it
The
is
white cotton poplin dress.
at the end of the day, right?
But this is one of those, I feel like if this were the investment piece for your vacation, like you will see this again. And this can serve you a multitude of vacations, but also just regular life.
Yeah, I think that, you know, what you want to do is when you find something that is so you, and that with the gold hoops, it goes to Ibiza. With the strappy like leather sandal, it goes to Miami. With the
Little polo on it,
you're going to wear it on Sea Island, Georgia, right? And you're going to be all good. And if you're in Florence and maybe you want to go sightseeing, you're going to put like the little Oxford shirt tied over it.
to go
Perfect,
into church.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, going to like see a church, you're not going to be like, whoa.
Yeah.
Hello, no Pope. Anyways, you're not going to do that. So you want to be able to use something in all different areas of your life. And then I would say though, for me, having been to like Berlin, for instance, I don't think that I'm wearing this in Berlin. You know, like it depends on like what you're going to Berlin for, but like if there's something, it's on the bare, it's A-line at the end of the day. So I'm not going to feel my best in this in a place that is definitely like sharper and more edge.
Yeah, and a little darker, like the white poplin would, I feel like you wouldn't feel like you fit in.
I wouldn't. So Berlin, you stay back. Another great piece for packing is the chill suit here,
The drapey suiting.
the drapey suiting. And so this is one, like, when you are going to, for sure, like a super chic location, and especially for any of you that have those trips that are like, I have to start in Stockholm, then I have a meeting in Paris, and I'm gonna do like a vacation in the south of France. This is perfect because it works as your suiting, it's your layering piece over, if I were wearing like a black slip dress or something in Paris out to dinner, I would absolutely just wear this right straight up over the shoulders. It's one that if I was in a preppy location, right? Maybe for, let's pretend like maybe I'm in that duck place in North Carolina.
Duck, North Carolina.
Do you know what that is?
No.
Okay. I'll have to look it up a little bit more.
Maybe Lilywood.
But here, like, this feels very appropriate, right? And you know, like on the color wheel, you're mixing in these more traditional classic colors. And so when we were describing a preppier place and we said, it's manicured, it's precise, it's more formalized there. This is all of those things. And it's, if I'm gonna be doing this, like now I actually feel a tinge too preppy for me, but if I wear the pant with it, I feel back to normal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So anyways, you really want to have these things that if I'm going to be investing in something like a suit, I want to know that if I'm in Milan, I'm going to wear it just with the black tank underneath. When I am in the south of France, I want to know that I'm going to take this pant and I'm going to be able to roll it up with a rubber band and a big like white shirt, and I'm going to go down to Hotel du Cap and have a drink and be really, really happy.
But you wore this the other week, even with the button down and that little like string tie. So if you are the person that has the meeting at this location, like there's your meeting look, and then you're good. Yeah, and then you're taking a trip after, and then you put it with the black tank, and you're cool for whatever location.
Actually, do you have the I think you brought out the gold lobster,
I have
right?
both lobsters in that thing.
Let's see,
In the little blue pouch.
in the pouch here, let me see. So, I just wanna see how sexy can this look, because like, I think that if I were wearing, I would be wearing the pant with it too, so I'm like total ease. The navy's throwing me a little bit, it makes it a little preppier. But if I had something though, like it really is just about having some strategic jewelry as well. Because if I was going somewhere here, like right away with the lobster, I feel like it's giving, it just feels like a little, like there's something sexier.
I was gonna say, I kind of feel like the lobster is sexy.
Yeah, he's a sexy lobster, but I think he could be a preppy lobster too, if you put him with a denim skirt and.
Or you're going to Sea Island and you wear the white poplin dress with the lobster, like you're kind of ironic, like you're in Sea Island with a lobster necklace, but but in, you're in Berlin or you're in Antwerp and you have this random chunky lobster, it reads completely different.
Yeah, so, the moral of this story here is that when you invest in the pieces that you are going to take away, you really want to let them be in a place where when you tweak them up, you can trope them, but that you can also detrope them immediately when you get back into your real life, right? That's really, really important. Okay, so I am a huge fan also of packing in a way that you've got the tropes that you already had at home, right? And then you've got your fundamentals. Then you want to also bring some key pieces, and you also want to leave room to buy stuff. Right? And when you're deciding what to buy, that's where I really love like leaning into the whole moment. So
Absolutely.
You had the St. Bart sandals there. I mean,
I love this piece.
I love this piece. So, and this is where I think you can also buy things that that are your had-to-haves,
Of course.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm not even going to attempt to put this one on because I know it's like I'm going to be like, but I'm not. But this piece is one that I had imagined, thank you, that like, okay, I bought this in Vienna.
Mm-hmm.
It was not at a sex store. It's actually Jenny Watanabe, I think, or Comb. I can't remember. Well, anyways, I'll figure it out. Anyways, I imagine for me just wearing this over like a white slip dress.
Mm-hmm.
And this was like my moment where Vienna going on to Berlin,
Mhm.
like
It's a had to have. It makes sense.
I had to have. It looks very sus in my closet, but
But it's
I love
like, yeah, and I think too with those pieces, like it's fun. It's
Yeah.
just someone sees what's in your closet and they're like, why on earth would you own this? And it's a fun story. You were traveling and you got a good piece.
exactly. So then the other thing when you think about had to haves that aren't really straight up you, but like it's so indicative of an area.
Mm-hmm.
I want to show you like if you're traveling to, let's say, well, here in this case, this was in Venice, and which I love Venice,
Mhm.
and which is interesting though, because you can go from like Milan to Capri to Venice, and you're in 3 wildly different locations. Like
Mhm.
it's all Italy, but they are different locations.
Mhm.
So this is something like, for instance, I bought these and oh my God, he's so pissed. I'm sorry, you got your red shoes on. So I bought these when we were in Venice, and hey, what?
He's wet too.
He's so
Like, he went
pissed.
outside.
He's like, just Cassie, come here, buddy. I'm sorry, you got the red shoes on. So this shoe is one that like you've never seen me wear these
No.
in the office or buddy. But it's something that like, it's you're in Venice. Like of course you're gonna buy a velvet embroidered slipper, right?
Yeah.
So when you've really brought the right things for these trips, these key fundamentals,
Mhm.
mixed with your tropes, mixed with like 1 or 2 special pieces that you're buying for your vacation, it really lets you buy some fun things
Mhm.
that speak to the whole area that you're going to without losing it.
Yeah.
Like here's another thing. When I'm in a preppier destination, I don't buy preppy clothes. Like I'm not gonna walk in and be like, oh, I'm gonna buy a whale belt or something like
Yeah.
that. I'm not gonna all
Yeah.
of a sudden start wearing embroidery whales. But what I do love to buy is like some kind of t-shirt that
A local t-shirt.
a local t-shirt, right? So this is like from my favorite Frosties on St. Simon's. Like this, I would totally wear. And I'm
Yeah.
gonna wear a white sneaker with it, and I'm gonna be so excited and call it a day.
Mhm.
And so all of this so far, guys, we're just doing with like this nylon pant and the nylon skirt here.
Mhm.
And in the preppier places and the hotter it's getting, the more you can see like I'm taking my rubber band. He is pissed.
Yeah, he's really grumpy. Buddy.
I mean, he's just standing here, he's blocking the view. So I'm gonna keep like shortening this pant as
Mhm.
well with the rubber band, just tied right there. Then I wanna show you too, like, here, like, let's pretend that we've gone to Spain or something like that. That's where, like, an espadrille,
Mhm.
which I normally don't wear. And to be full disclosure here, actually, Tracy bought me these when she went to Spain, and she loved them so much. And it's funny, like, she brought them, and she's like, "Oh, you're gonna wear these all the time." She's like, "I wore them on vacation all the time." Well, I don't wear them all the time, but I
Mhm.
did bring them when we did a photo shoot in San Miguel. But I don't wear them all the time. And you know what? That strappy sandal from St. Bart's, I bought that for Tracy.
These?
I know, you're like, these? I was like, Tracy, you'll wear them all the time. And in fact, Tracy does not wear them all the time.
Or she should. They're so cool.
I know, but you also know it's so not Tracy.
Yeah.
But things aren't necessarily us until we're on vacation, right?
Mhm.
So here is like my wardrobe that I live in all the time, but then just this one shoe is like, oh, you're in San Miguel or you're in Spain or wherever.
Yeah.
So you really want to hone in on those trope items and then really still feel like yourself at the same time. One other example too, I want to show you for dressing in classic areas. And remember we said classic and preppy are two different things. So classic, you want to think of like old world workmanship, Florence again, and preppy is your Nantucket, your brights, your colder colors together.
Yeah.
So when you are traveling to an area that is on the classic side, mixing in the classic colors with ring 3 is a really great way to affect the vibe and make sure that you don't hit the preppy mark. Because what happens is if you feel too preppy and then you walk in and there is like the chicest woman from Florence just sitting there in like all of her browns and everything and you're sitting next to her, it just feels so wrong.
Right.
It just feels wrong. You're like, fuck, I got it wrong.
Yeah.
And you're like, on paper, what should be the difference between preppy and classic? But there's a difference. So this is one where like, when you're mixing in these more muted colors together, if I were to mix in this belt here, you can see this is when things feel classic, but this is not preppy.
No.
It's not preppy. But I could wear this. I would feel comfortable wearing this to a preppy area.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's funny, I don't feel comfortable wearing preppy to a classic
That makes
area.
sense. I think that makes sense.
But then I think, why does that make sense? And I think part of it is because you grow up with certain baggage depending on where you were raised, right? And so I came from the South. And so, one of my first memories was when Frank and I went to Paris. First of all, it was Dream Paris Fashion Week, which I had no idea. Like I was working for American Express. I'm like, I didn't even know this was a thing. And we got to stay at the Ritz because American Express had this program as an employee. You could go there and make sure that the hotel was adhering to the program standards for the fine hotels and resorts. So we were like, sure, we'll take the Ritz. And right when we got there, I remember Frank was like, let's go to Jill Sander. She's one of my favorite designers. Well, go Frank, right? But for me, I'm like in this pair of like sneakers. And I think they were good sneakers because I remember we had gone to a soccer tournament with a colleague of his in New York, and he had this German girlfriend and she was wearing Serpega sneakers. And I was like, wait, I'm wearing Tretorns. She's wearing, those look so cool. So I had on those sneakers and I'm wearing this floral dress, so from the Limited, right? And we go into Jill Sander and we've only been in Paris for a few hours. And I tried on a shoe and my foot swelled up in the shoe and they could not get it off. And they had to go like find lotion downstairs to pry the shoe off. And, it's like, shit, I feel like if I was dressed like this, I would have felt better about it. But it was like, and so it's stupid, but you do feel like when you look out of place and when you look out of place and you're in the look that which you grew up with that isn't necessarily a bad thing, but you're wanting to expand your outlooks. I think it fits heavily on
Yes,
you
and I
know?
think for me as well, like I'm from Texas, so same thing. I wore floral dresses and rainbows by Paulette mega bows until I was in almost high school, honestly. But now, like I would never want to wear that on vacation. Like I want to allude that, I live in New York and I work in fashion, and not that I grew up in Texas. But I think when you go back, it's easier to kind of fall into that pattern because it's what you're comfortable with. It's what you grew up with.
It's what you grew up with, but you do carry it. You do. Everyone's got different associations with stuff, and I know it too. Like designing with Tracy and with Hannah. Hannah's from Seoul, and Tracy was born in Vietnam, but she grew up in Houston. But she and I have very different associations with things. I mean, there were fabrics and things that like Hannah would just straight up be like, no, like it would remind her of like some kind of like very austere, put together woman who would be telling her what to do in Seoul. And Tracy had her hang-ups from Texas, and I would have my hang-ups from Georgia and preppy world, right? So all of the information that you get on what to pack when you're traveling also has an overlay of like, what are the hang-ups that you have? And I would say that when you do have a lot of these hang-ups too, you don't have to push through them.
No.
Like, I have a hang-up about tartan. Like in my wildest dreams, I could be like McQueen, or I could be like a Vivienne Westwood in tartan. But the reality is, I don't look like Ray, our artist in residence. I will always look like I've shown up at like a school and,
Like a
or
Christmas
just
party.
to,
Yeah.
I'll look like the mom in St. Elmo's Fire, which I know is a reference that you don't get, but others will. So, you want to be really cognizant of what are the things that are making you feel off. And what you also want to be cognizant of is what are the things that are making you feel off that you don't need to push through. It might be great that like someone, like, I don't know whether Leandra or someone is able to do it with like irony. Let that be their irony, but her irony is not going to be the same as your irony.
Right.
At all. So you want to think about those things when you are packing as well. And sometimes too, I don't know, it's just a chance to really kind of pretend as well.
Yeah.
And be something new and interesting if that is what you're looking for. Another thing too, like I brought this one, someone was going to Seoul. And this is stuff like Korea is amazing for shopping, by the way, just in general. But there are also funny things that you buy there and you can lean into without becoming like a full trope of what you would imagine.
Yeah.
Someone in Korea or, someone very young, obviously, and doing a total like street funny, great thing. But just funny things to buy when you are on vacation. This was another example of a trope in your closet if you're going someplace sexy.
Yeah, but it's dressing up with nylon skirt with a gold heel, and you feel elevated and you feel like this is Miami. You feel sexy because you're in Miami, but this isn't completely out of a wheelhouse that would, this will come up again in your wardrobe. This is probably something that maybe deep in a closet you have, like a fun gold sandal.
Exactly. And it's one too where like, if you, let's say you were investing in like the green slip dress, then this and this, Miami bound. You're all good, right? This with like maybe a chocolate brown suede sandal and a turquoise earring, maybe you're going to Aspen. This with like a tall gladiator sandal, and maybe I'm in Ibiza. If I'm wearing this with a navy blazer over my shoulder, I'm going to be in Nantucket. If I'm going to wear this with a black blazer over my shoulder and maybe a black strappy sandal and some crystal earrings, maybe I'm in Milan. You really want to get things that you can imagine yourself in multiple destinations, because hopefully you're not just going on one trip, you're going on lots of trips in your future. This is another great one too that is just so full on summer, and already just having it here with this colorway is giving it like a more classic moment to it. Like if I was wearing a brown sandal, I feel like I could walk around Florence and this and be good. But then a big white shirt, I'm totally perfect for Nantucket or Georgia, something really preppy. And then I'm gonna wear it with like a white bandeau bikini and this, and I'm gonna be great in the south of France. I'm gonna put on a gigantic hoop earring with it, and I'm gonna be in Ibiza.
Yeah.
So really, what we're gonna lay out for you guys is all of this. I mean, I've never seen them come. Honey, I'm not taking them off for you. So what we're gonna do is, what you guys will see in the Substack is we're gonna have a layout of all of the different classifications, and then we're gonna cross-reference it with all of the cities that you guys sent us. So you can see what cities fall into what classifications. We'll have visuals of the tropes. We will give you ideas of what the items are that you likely have at home that can be manipulated to work within the trope. So here's like, for sexy, you are likely to have at home a black bikini, a sheer top, some kind of fabulous silver necklace, gold shoes, right? Like that is going to cover you for sexy. What are the key items that are going to go into your suitcase? What are the items that you are going to buy as the items to take with you on vacation? And then what is the item that you are going to buy when you're there? And by the way, when I was Googling, Norma Kamali has really good, extremely well priced. This one was on Poshmark, but it still had the tags on it.
Yeah.
Like really great things at just low price point, but that you could just wear them with like a wrap skirt and you can be in the moment, but you didn't break the bank with it.
Yeah.
So lots of like, she had lots of sequin bodysuits and everything that were all in like a $145, $185 price range. So when something is a bit more out of your wheelhouse, that you know for sure you're gonna only wear it like a couple times a year, either, you know, that you can definitely buy in a stand in Ibiza, but you can also buy from like a Norma Kamali in advance and know that you're gonna have it.
Yeah.
So a quick review then of the key items that are gonna go in everyone's suitcase, no matter what. You're gonna have the floaty skirt. We've already covered a million ways to one. You're gonna upgrade this or change it around from all the way from preppy to maybe with a black studded belt. I'm wearing.
I was gonna say, I almost feel like this could even go from preppy to that like anti-authority look, like especially if you had the strap on this one, like you know, it has the interesting,
100%.
the interesting design detail, and then you kind of rough it up.
I would have worn this in Berlin.
Totally.
With Tracy. I would have worn it. The sheer skirt here, this is going to give you, the only place I'm probably not wearing this is in a Boston Nantucket type place. But, because I'm like, what would the Greenwich Country Club say? If you walked in. No.
They would not, yeah.
But I could wear it in a preppy place, because I'm gonna wear it with like the blue blazer and a strappy sandal, and then of course I'm wearing it to all the sexy places, bohemian places, avant-garde places. I can even wear it in Mexico with like a big white t-shirt and the shoe here.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm such a big fan of first principles, right? Really drilling down to the core of things. So when you realize that what a skirt is really giving you at the end of the day is ease, breathability, throw on, you can shorten it, you can lengthen it just by rolling the waistband. You really want to think of things as ingredients in that way instead of really thinking about like what's
and I think that, like, at least in my experience, that's the problem. When I go on a trip, I'm thinking like, I have these 3 days, these, you know, plans. I want 3 outfits.
Yeah.
And you get there, you're not in the mood for them anymore.
You're not in the mood. And again, you want to buy something
Absolutely
great,
Yeah.
you know, but then you want to feel like yourself. So if I've landed in Ibiza and I've got these pants, I'm going to roll them up, I'm going to rubber band them. And then maybe there is like this peasanty blouse that in any normal day I would never be attracted to, but it's a good price point. It's being sold at a stall by the beach. Why not? You're on vacation. But if you went and tried to buy all those blouses from a Zimmerman, from Chloe, or someone who would have fabulous product in that genre ahead of time, and it's not your style, you can end up wasting a lot of money. So you can see it's very obvious how this lands in Berlin, you know, where it would land in South Korea, Tokyo, places like that. But again, this goes into the preppy place once you're wearing it with like, I would mix this with like a little white Lacoste shirt
Yeah.
and a red sandal or something. If you haven't gotten the memo by now, all of these nylons are just so perfect for traveling. All of the slip dresses are perfect for traveling. You've got all of the layering pieces. So really, if I'm gonna build this out for you guys right now, and just pretend like this is one of the locations, but if you had, you know, if this is what the base of your suitcase looks like right here, then what you're gonna do is, you're like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna pop in one key color thing because it's summertime and I wanna feel really fresh and new, and I'm gonna bring in something because I have an event or not, but I just want to feel fabulous. And then, how could you miss out on terry cloth in the summer? So like, why not, right? And then let's say that you've also packed a couple of things that are going to fall into your trope area. So maybe in this case, you're going to pack this bikini here, and you're going to bring in a gold sandal, and you are going to a place that is going to call for a more modern pair of sunglasses. And then you're wearing the shoes that you've got. You're going to pack the shoe that just literally goes with everything. Goes with a whatever strappy sandal. Alley, something, yes, I think so. But this is your luggage, and it's really light. But this is really like all you need. So now you're thinking, now you can get very specific, like, oh, well, we're gonna do a family dinner here. So let me pack in one more like fabulous dress. And oh, we're gonna go hiking. So let's pack in like a pair of shoes for hiking and the right pair of shorts. But what you wanna do is declutter your mind so that you get like 85% of that suitcase done, so you can zero in on some target things that can be very specific, and then you want to be able to leave a big chunk of your suitcase, not a big chunk, but like 15% or so, to pick up some great local items. Like, we love shopping small. You know, when you go to a place, it's really nice to be able to support a local vendor, and
they bring home like little treasures,
and that's a really good thing. So guys, I apologize if this was a little bit rambly today. I mean, we don't need to discuss it. It was, but this was a lot of information, and I got a little ambitious in how much I could communicate and with what clarity. But I think that this was a good start, but this is going to be a little bit of an ongoing conversation now into Substacks, and I might even do a few podcasts around it, because again, I don't want anyone to feel the way I felt at Jill Sander. It was humiliating. I've got another really quick story, and then like half of you guys can tune out because you may have heard this. But there was another trip where I was in Bali, and we had dinner one night with it was a guy who was running the Four Seasons at the time, and he and his wife invited us to dinner at their house. And I was in Bali, and I'm from Georgia. So what did I pack? A fucking like Lily Pulitzer printed mini skirt and a Lacoste shirt. And I want to say like some of those Jack Rogers sandals. Like, I know you're feeling so sorry for me.
I know, I do.
You're like, I'm in pain. And so we got to their house, and I'm like, this is perfect, right? It's Bali, it's hot. I'm wearing a mini skirt. I'm wearing a sandal. And the Four Seasons head guy, his wife, opened the door, and her name was Brigitte. And she was wearing just a white pull-on skirt and this big white like top, a shirt unbuttoned to here, and like a pair of like little strappy sandals, maybe even barefoot. And I wanted to die. I just wanted to die because, first of all, I was like, this isn't me, but you are me. So first of all, why don't I look like this?
Absolutely.
And second of all, how did I get the vibe so wrong? And I just, like I hated that night, and I still like, I don't want people to go through that again. So this is not about having a bad outfit. It is about feeling so unlike yourself. And when you don't feel like yourself, it is really hard to be yourself. It's hard to engage. It's hard to talk in a way that's natural. It sucks. So I don't want you guys to go through that. And that is the reason for doing a deeper dive into this class. I also want to point out, for those of you who follow along in the book, this is the section in the book that is about putting it into practice. And I gave one that was about an island destination. And the idea was that when you are going to an island destination, one might be inclined to go out and buy all of these things and put them in the suitcase, right? If you went to the wrong store, if you read the wrong Yelp review, they'd be like, oh, are you going to blah, blah, blah? You need the straw bag, the beads, the peasant top, the embroidery skirt, the straw shoes. Thing is, you don't need that stuff. You probably want to get it when you're there. But what you want to make sure of is when you get to the island destination, that you've got all your basics so that you can buy the embroidery skirt, but you can wear it with your regular t-shirt. And you can have your bikini with the little espadrille shoe here, but you're going to wear it with your big blue and white striped shirt. You're going to have your big straw bag, but you're wearing it with your nylon dress. So this is about folding in these tropes. Tropes are there for a reason. They're really not accidental tropes, you know, like there is a reason why Ibiza is known for being very sexy and bohemian, and why Poland is not. Like it's just different ground, it's
Absolutely.
different temperature, it's different environments, right? So tropes are there for a reason. They are not there to be completely dismissed, but you want to take from them what you will, and then you want to make it your own. So look out for the Substacks. We put them up either on Fridays or Saturdays. Can't remember when Stella and I get them done. We put them up. And I'll be giving you guys a lot more information that I hope you will find as super practical. And if you don't find it as super practical right now, you will later on. So just give it a beat.
Do we have
That's the way to
anything,
edge my bet.
do we have anything to
Housekeeping.
report?
Housekeeping. So Katura, Fauna, Grace,
And Lucy from wholesale.
Lucy, and Darian. I can't remember who the other
Just
one. Someone from St. Simon's is going to London. No.
I don't think so.
Anyways, they're going to London, and they're getting on a plane in a few hours. So the London setup is happening again, and it is great. We've moved London up to 2 times a year now, and everyone knows it is a great experience when you go, so please do. And I know that we are also making the book available for people in London as well. The second thing in housekeeping is what? What do we have going on?
Watch the Almost Reckless podcast.
Watch the Almost Reckless podcast with, well, still the Schumacher one. With,
Yeah.
And which is amazing. I've actually gotten a lot of DMs that it is a fave. And then next month, we've got a really great one coming out with a friend of mine. And then we have photo shoots coming up, but you guys don't need to know about all that stuff. So it's all good. And, but we do have a lot of fun stuff to announce that we're going to be doing in Italy in a few weeks. But again, later on that. So thank you guys.